Hi, this is HL from the Hollywood Liberal, and welcome to our latest installment of HL's video vlog here on NBC News Raw with the latest in what's been going on in our blog, thehollywoodliberal.com, and let's get to it. Well, as you know, last week the House approved subpoenas for Karl Rove, Harriet Miers, and a few other people in the prosecutor gate, what they're calling it now, the firing of the 8 prosecutors, which is being alleged that Bush and the Republicans did for political reasons during the last couple of years to try to help them through the last election cycle, which they lost. President Bush refuses to let Rove and Miers testify under oath, and also doesn't want any transcript of the hearings, which of course the House is not happy with. So a constitutional crisis looms. If Bush refuses to let him testify under oath, technically he is in contempt of Congress, and that is an impeachable offense. Unfortunately, the people that prosecute contempt of Congress is the Justice Department, which is headed up by none other than Alberto Gonzales, who's the man who this whole controversy swirls around. Gonzales still has a job. There was a story this morning on AP that said that he's losing his support, so that means he'll probably have his job for the rest of the time. But we'll just have to follow that story and see where it leads. Also, Senator Chuck Hagel from Nebraska, a Republican, who's been one of Bush's biggest critics on the Republican side, has come out and said that impeachment is a possibility if Bush does not decide to start listening to what the American people and the Congress have to say. He came out with a quote that said if Bush doesn't want to listen to the American people in Congress, then there's ways to deal with that. Impeachment was what he was talking about. Hagel's been coming up with a lot of good things for a Republican lately, but you also have to remember that he owns Diebold, which is the company that fixed the elections for Bush in the first place. So Hagel himself wants to run for president, and he'll probably do himself the same favor if we're not careful and we don't check out what's going on with him. Okay, turning our attention to Iraq, 5 more soldiers died this weekend in Iraq, 4 of them in a roadside explosion. Another story that we're going to be following this week, it's been announced now that 770 contractors, private people who work for the government in Iraq, have been killed since the war started. Most of these people work for a company called KBR, which is Kellogg Brown and Root, which is a subsidiary of Halliburton, which of course is the company that Dick Cheney used to run. Dick Cheney was the CEO of Halliburton. He still owns 433,000 shares of Halliburton, so, and they have most of the contract work which is going on in Iraq, which officially makes Dick Cheney a war profiteer, which is the reason why Iraq has been going on for the past 4+ years and with no end in sight. This week the House broke down and agreed to give Bush his $100 billion to continue the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. However, they put a provision in it that we have to start leaving by September 2008, which means that no matter what happens, the carnage will continue for another 18 months with no end in sight. The Republicans are looking to draft a similar bill with a pullout date, although it's a non-binding one, and between the two of them trying to hammer out an agreement, we'll be here for the next 2 years. The Iraq war will continue, more people will die, Bush and Cheney will continue their war profiteering, and nothing much will change. Another part of the fallout of the whole bill for Democrats is that they've removed the provision which they were going to put in, which said that Bush cannot attack Iran. Why they did that is anybody's guess, but now when this bill goes through and Bush gets his money, if he feels like attacking Iran, he can come out and say, Congress didn't say anything about me not attacking Iran, which they were going to and they didn't, so I can go ahead and do what I want. Also on the Hollywood Liberal today, we got a couple of good videos. One, an interview with Donald Trump, who goes in to say that Bush is the worst president in the history of the United States, that the Iraq war is a complete disaster, that there's no possible way we can come out of this looking good. It's a nice little interview with Trump, and you know, the guy's got some money, he kind of knows what he's talking about. He also says that he does a lot of traveling all around the world, and everywhere he goes, everybody hates America now, they never used to. Then you can thank George W. Bush and all his wars for profit for that. There's also another video from Bill Maher, who's talking about how people cannot criticize his patriotism who are screwing America over so badly. That means Bush, Cheney, the Republicans, Condoleezza Rice, and everybody else. Okay, well, we'll be following those stories and a lot more this week, as usual, at thehollywoodliberal.com. So stop by and check out what's going on. Stay up to date on all the latest happenings in government in Washington and here in LA and California. All right, have a good day. Talk to you next week. Bye.